The Indo-Parthian Kingdom was ruled by the Gondopharid dynasty and other rulers who were a group of ancient kings from Central Asia that ruled parts of present-day Afghanistan, Pakistan and northwestern India during a slightly before the 1st century AD. For most of the history, the leading Gondopharid kings held Taxila as the residence, but during the last few years of existence the capital shifted between Kabul and Peshawar. These kings have traditionally been referred to as Indo-Parthians, as the coinage was often inspired by the Arsacid dynasty, but they probably belonged to a wider groups of Iranian tribes who lived east of Parthia proper, and there is no evidence that all the kings who assumed the title Gondophares, which means holder of glory, were even related. Gondophares I and his successors. Gondophares I originally seems to have been a ruler of Sistan in what is today eastern Iran, probably a vassal, a relative of the Arsacid. Around 2010 BCE, he made conquests in the former Indo-Parthian Kingdom, perhaps after the death of the important ruler Arsacid. Gondophares became the ruler of areas comprising Arsacid, Sistan, Sindh, Punjab, and the Kabul Valley, but it does not seem as though he held territory beyond eastern Punjab. Gondophares called himself King of Kings, a Parthian title that in his case correctly reflects that the Indo-Parthian Empire was only a loose framework. A number of smaller dynasts certainly maintained their positions during the Indo-Parthian period, likely in exchange for the recognition of Gondophares and his successors. These smaller dynasts included the Arsacid themselves, and Indo-Scythian satraps such as Dionysius and Rajuvula, as well as anonymous Scythians who struck imitations of Arsacid coins. The Kharatash also held sway in Gujarat, perhaps just outside Gondophares' dominions. After the death of Gondophares I, the empire started to fragment. The name or title Gondophares was adapted by Sarpedons, who became Gondophares II and was possibly son of the first Gondophares. Even though he claimed to be the main ruler, Sarpedons' rule was shaky and he issued a fragmented coinage in Sindh, eastern Punjab and Arsacid in southern Afghanistan. The most important successor was Abdagasis, Gondophares' nephew, who ruled in Punjab and possibly in the homeland of Sistan. After a short reign, Sarpedons seems to have been succeeded by Orthanes, who became Gondophares III Gadana. Orthanes ruled mostly in Sistan and Arsacid, with Abdagasis further east during the first decades AD, and was briefly succeeded by his son Abazanes Coin. After 20 AD, a king named Arsacid, a nephew of the Arsacid ruler Aspavarma, took over Abdagasis' territories and became Gondophares IV Arsacid. According to Senior, this is the Gondophares referred to in the Taxila inscription. There were other minor kings. Sanabes was an ephemeral usurper in Sistan, who called himself Great King of Kings, and there was also a second Abdagasis coin, a ruler named Agartha in Sindh, another ruler called Satavastra coin, and an anonymous prince who claimed to be brother of the king Arsacid, in that case an actual member of the ruling dynasty in Parthia. But the Indo-Parthians never regained the position of Gondophares I, and from the middle of the 1st century AD the Kushans under Kujula Kadphises began absorbing the northern Indian part of the kingdom. The last king Pak only ruled in Sistan and Kandahar. Silk Road transmission of Buddhism. Some pocket of Parthian rule remained in the east, even after the takeover by the Sassanids in 226. From the 2nd century several Central Asian Buddhist missionaries became in the Chinese capital, cities of Luoyang and sometimes Nanjing, where they particularly distinguished themselves by the translation work The first known translators of Buddhist texts into Chinese are actually Parthian missionaries, distinguished in Chinese by the Parthian surname Han-for Anshi, country of the Arsacids. Anshikao was a Parthian prince who made the first known translations of Hinayana Buddhist texts into Chinese. Anhuan was a Parthian merchant who became a monk in China 181 AD. Tanti, a Parthian monk. Unfahin, a monk of Parthian origins. Main Indo-Parthian rulers. Gondophares the first coin. Gondophares the second Sarpedon's coin. Abdagas's the first coin. Gondophares the third Gadana, previously Orthanes. Gondophares the fourth Sases, previously Sases. Arbazanes. Pak Uz coin.